The Roush R2300 Phase 2 kit will be for the 11 to 14 GT owners out there who are looking for massive power gains over a stock or naturally aspirated setup and would like to go with an all-inclusive carb-certified turnkey kit from one of the leaders in Ford tuning. Now, Roush does advertise this particular kit at 625 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque at the crank, while covering the included parts you see here with their 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty. Of course, adding this much power from a quality system doesn't exactly come cheap, as the Phase 2 kit will run you upwards of $6,500, and the install will be a bit of a test for the weekend wrenchers out there. So let's call this a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and we will have a little bit more detail on that later in the video. Now, this is going to be a general overview of the Roush Phase 2 kit here, and because of that, we're not going to have any chassis dyno results for you guys. But with that being said, it has been my experience with these kits, and I have quite a bit, that they typically make about 75 to 100 horsepower and torque less compared to the advertised crank numbers. And that really shouldn't come as any big surprise, as drivetrain loss will be around 10 to 15% depending on your transmission, and that will give you your final output to the tires. Now, if you do the math, in this particular case, that's going to be just over 525 horsepower and about just shy of 500 pound-feet of torque to the tires using the included Roush calibration. That's very important to point out here. Now, these are, again, just very general numbers, and ultimately your power will vary depending on things like your existing modifications, the dyno conditions, along with the dyno itself, but expect the general power output to be in that ballpark. But let's break down this kit a little bit further, and guys, without a doubt, the star of the Roush Phase 2 kit is going to be the Eaton TVS 2300 Rotor Pack, which was the next generation or step up at the time from the Eaton M122 Roots blower found on the 03 and 04 Cobras, of course, in addition to the SVT Lightning. Now, since then, there has been the Eaton 2650 blower, which has been released, but this is, again, just a still very tried and true setup here, and a very popular one. Now, the 2300 is going to utilize a twin 4-rotor load pack that is twisted 160 total degrees, which basically is going to create a more efficient flow over the older style blower. It's basically just able to make more power, but given the same boost level. But what are going to be some of your big benefits when going with a TVS in general? Well, in my opinion, the biggie is going to be the instantaneous power delivery along with a nice fat torque curve. Now, the power delivery is going to be very linear here with the TVS and very predictable, making them a great choice for just about any kind of driving style out there. Compare that, however, to a turbo or maybe a centrifugal blower, which at times can suffer from a little bit of lag depending on your setup. That's not going to be the case here at the TVS. The power is on tap and lots of it, especially that torque down low. But as I pointed out earlier, this is an all-inclusive kit, and while I don't have every single part on the table with me here, don't kill me guys, there's a lot involved with this kit. In fact, here is a brief little rundown of some of the stuff you can expect when opening the 3 boxes for the very first time. Now, in addition to the head unit here or the rotor pack itself, you're also going to be receiving the lower portion of the unit, which is actually your air-to-water intercooler, and it is a very integral part of the blower itself. Now, working to help keep this guy cool and keep those intake air temps down will be the included heat exchanger from Roush. Just a heads up, guys, this kit does not include any external or electric fans, and that is something you might want to consider ordering or adding to your equation down the road, especially if you live in a warmer climate. Roush does also throw in their twin 60mm throttle body here with the Phase 2 kit, and that is fed by the Roush induction system or intake system, including the 110mm mass airflow housing. The Phase 2 kit does include 47-pound injectors in addition to a unique high-flow fuel rail, and that will be enough to meet the needs of the now-blown Coyote engine using the Roush calibration. However, if you have a Phase 2 or 3 kit and you want to gun for even bigger power down the road, much like I did with my own TVS kit, the injector will probably be one of the first areas you will need to address in order to meet the new power demands. Finally, Roush does include the 85mm pulley with the Phase 2 kit, which, depending on your existing modifications, will put you in the neighborhood of 8 to 9 pounds of boost with your particular setup. However, the nice thing about a TVS blower is that pulleying up or pulleying down is a very simple task and can be done in a matter of minutes using some basic hand tools and doesn't require any crazy tools or anything like that. Rounding out the kit, you're gonna find everything you need to get this thing in place on your 11 to 14 Coyote engine. That does include all of your hoses, all of the wiring, brand new spark plugs, in addition to a degas bottle for that brand new heat exchanger, and so much more. This is a very, very complete kit, guys, and that will be evident when it comes time to get everything installed. It does also include the Roush calibration here, which will need to be flashed by a specialty tool or the Roush dongle if you have access to one. And that will give you those advertised crank numbers in regards to both horsepower and torque with your setup. That being said, you totally do not have to use this. It will give you a very safe and conservative tune, might leave a little bit of power on the table, or you can check out one of the many aftermarket tuner or calibration options out there, such as VMP, for instance, which will do a great job, especially with these TVS cars. So again, one thing to point out, and that will be up to you at the end of the day when it comes time to get everything fired up for the very first time. But switching gears, let's talk about the installation here with the Phase 2 kit. And again, because this is a topical overview of the kit, we're gonna keep it very vague, very general here, guys, and stick with our 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and anywhere from a full day to at least, I'd say, a weekend in the shop or garage to get everything knocked out properly. Now, this one isn't going to be for the novice mechanics out there because of some of the detailed work it does entail, such as some minor wiring, some clearancing of that front timing cover on your engine, and things like that. So if you're not exactly proficient in the garage, I'd recommend getting this one knocked out by your local speed shop. However, if you do know your way around the toolbox and stuff like this is just another day in the garage for you, well, again, leave yourself a day or two to get everything knocked out. Download those instructions from Roush's site first before getting started. It's a great way to get an idea of what you're in for, and it's a good way to feel out your tool selection and things like that. But if you do knock this one out, again, just follow those detailed instructions very closely, and you shouldn't have any issues here with the Roush. But wrapping things up here, guys, and as a proud owner of a Roush TVS kit on my own S197, I can tell you the blower is a great way to totally transform your GT. It's gonna make great power with or without a custom tune. It is upgradable down the road, and best of all, everything fits like a glove. So be sure to learn more about this blower setup for your ride right here at AmericanMuscle.com.